Put him in a bedroom, Mike. Bobby, put him in the bedroom. Put him in the bedroom. Get him out of here. Come on.
What makes people all over America break down and cry like this? Call 1-900-9099-CRY and hear it for yourself. $2 for the first minute, 45 cents each additional minute. If you're under 18, ask your parents before you call. 1-900-9099-CRY.
I came into contact with somebody from one of the big four, ended up becoming kind of a mentor to me. He's now a member of our club.
Man, when I first saw my first Hell's Angel standing there, I was like, that's what I want to be, man.
If you're running a three-piece, just like it is truly an outlaw standard. Doesn't make you a 1%er, but it makes you an outlaw.
This is what I believe in, and it was awesome to see that my brothers believed in me.
It's the wolf leading the sheep, man. The sheep need to open their eyes because they about to walk off the cliff where a whole other pack of wolves are at the bottom.
If you were getting your lunch money taken before you put some rags on, if they catch you by yourself, they're going to take your lunch money again.
I try to be around the guys and hang out with them as much as possible and get to know them, because that's really what it's about.
The Hells Angels are being arraigned.
One man was stabbed in the chest, another was knocked out, who faced criminal charges, including charges of hate crimes as well as gang allegations. One defendant faces an attempted murder charge, so this certainly appears to be a widespread investigation.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Stacks. I'm your host, Bill Stacks, and today we're going to talk about who shot these pagans. Because 3 of the pagans were shot, but no one's talking about that. How did they get shot? Before we get started, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell your mother's, brother's, sister's friend about Chatting with Stacks, the dopest motorcycle content on YouTube. I appreciate all you guys taking the time to watch this show. You guys know we bring breaking news to the table. We got inside information that no other channel has. And I pride myself on bringing you guys exclusive content before it hits the mainstream. So if you want inside information, exclusive content, just join us on Chatting with Stacks and you will get that. Lindsay, how are you? Thank you for joining me. I appreciate everything you do for this channel. Make sure you guys check out Patreon or join the membership for exclusive content. Ronan, what's good? Mountain Woman, how are you? Damn, is the phone blowing up right now? Like right now? Not right now. I'll call you back. Mountain Woman, how you doing? Jaman in the house. Scrap Iron, what's good? Holy Skunk, what's going on? You guys like that intro? That 1-900-CRY? A lot of people need to call that number and just let it all out. Dominic, how you doing? Good afternoon. Holy Skunk, I'm sorry, I'm not your morning angel. Shit, why do they keep blowing my shit up? They hang up and call right back. Yeah, don't do that. Richard, what's going on? Appreciate you taking the time to watch this show. Wildcard, what's going on? Shout out to you. Shout out to Ontario, Canada. We're gonna, I got a video today from, what is it called? Satan's Choice. Satan's Choice getting harassed by the police. Got a video to show you guys of that. Brian, what's up, man? Good afternoon. Todd, how are you? And we got some news from Connecticut. Crazy situation that happened. Carjacking. I have the dispatchers talking when this carjacking is taking place. Pretty crazy. Love you all. May the floorgates of prosperity open for all of us. Oh yeah, I second that. Z1%er, how you doing, man? Very funny, Stacks. Yeah, but I'm under 18 and my parents left the building. Make sure you get your parents' permission to watch this show. Craig, what's going on? Jeff, how you doing? Thank you for joining me today. Paula, happy birthday, Paula. I hope you had a good birthday. Brian, what's good? So we got some wild stories for you guys. There's one story that I missed. I was going to tell you guys about it. I keep missing it every time. I'm like, damn. Todd says, I got a lot of Pagans clubs about 500 feet from my apartment, Fall River, Mass. Listen, Fall River, right? Massachusetts is a small area, right? And if these clubs really wanted to, like, take each other out, there'd be bodies everywhere. So, in the end, I think they really all just want peace. They're all the same types of people. If you take the cuts off, they're the same types of people. They would enjoy each other's companies. So all this violence, it leads nowhere. People don't win, you know? Nobody wins when violence is involved. And if they want to settle a dispute, just go and box it out somewhere. Hardwire, what's going on? Thank you for joining me today. Let me find this video for you guys because this is a crazy story. Let me see if I can find it. I've been wanting to show you guys this, and I keep forgetting over and over. I'm like, damn, got it again every time. I know I got it. Here it is. Found it. All right, so this guy, it was in jail, right? He's in just regular jail. This dude smuggles a firearm in his ass. You can't make this up. Like, you can't make this up. But I got a video, so let's check it out.
Well, sources are telling me tonight that gun was stashed in this prisoner's buttocks, and he managed to get into this prisoner transport van undetected after he saw a judge. And now 2 police officers are in the hot seat, and another prisoner is in the hospital tonight with that gunshot wound to the leg. Now, within the last 10 minutes, the suspect, Luis Soto, went before a judge for the second night in a row. Pix 11 cameras were the only ones inside of the courtroom. You see him as he was brought in with his hands behind his back under heavy security.
This dude put a gun in his ass.
Was remanded into custody, and he is now going to be sent back to the Westchester unfolded.
And of course, right? It's gotta start glitching now. I don't know. Apparently, he has an arsenal up there, you know? Pew, 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 in the poo poo. He's got a pew pew in the doo doo. Disgusting. Like, you gotta be, like, what would be the reason you would need a firearm in prison? I mean, I guess you're the top dog if you got a firearm in prison, right? You're the top dog.
While the prisoners were being brought to the jail inside of a Mount Vernon police transport van 7 o'clock last night. Officials say that the person was shot by a fellow prisoner who'd smuggled the gun into the vehicle on his body. As cops heard the shot go off mid-ride, they turned around, raced back here to police headquarters, where 5 prisoners were offloaded and secured. Police say Luis Soto was the man who had the loaded .22 caliber revolver. But how it got past multiple layers of security is what's being investigated right now. Soto's a 32-year-old Bronx man who had been arrested on Wednesday initially for...
It either had to be a Derringer, like one of them real little ones, or it's like one of them real small ones, you know? But damn. That's crazy.
Allegedly sexually assaulting a minor. Now he's facing multiple charges related to the shooting. As a result, police are overhauling their security protocols, knowing full well how much more serious this could have been.
He seen the judge reprimanded him to Valhalla. So that means he stood before the judge with a weapon on him. He got in the transport van with the weapon on him. So all them times they never patted him down, that weapon was still on him.
They can't pat you down if it's in your ass. They said it was in his ass. Like, and he's like, oh, they can't pat him down? Yeah, what are they supposed to do? Put a fucking, what's that called? A periscope up his ass? I mean, you heard him in the beginning. Clearly, they said it was in his ass.
Well, sources are telling me tonight that gun was stashed in this prisoner's buttocks, and he managed to get into this prisoner transport van undetected after he saw a judge. And now 2 police officers are in the hot seat, and another prisoner is in the hospital tonight with that gunshot wound to the leg. Now,
crazy lawsuit. You know how much money this guy who got shot while in prison by another inmate, you know how much money he's going to get from the state? He's probably going to be set for life. That is insane. Like, you can't make this shit up. All right, so we got other news. Shout out to Game Over Motorcycle Club. If you guys don't know, they're doing some great things for the community. You know, there's some legitimate people out there who lost their food stamps and they're hungry. They need food. So this motorcycle club called Game Over is helping out the less fortunate over there in Memphis. We're going to take a look at a video of them helping people out. Let's check it out.
Began to drop. A group of volunteers are doing what they can to make sure members of the community's most vulnerable population stay warm. Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Shay Arthur. WREG's Cwienk brings us that story.
Members of Game Over Motorcycle Club were on the move Sunday morning. No, they weren't on the road riding their motorcycles. They were at Morris Park, moving blankets and plates of warm food into the hands of those in need.
It's getting cold out here. Somebody got to take care of our homes.
Edwin Carr says for years they've been coming to the park to make sure those experiencing homelessness have what they need for the fall and winter seasons.
You can never know when your situation may change.
What's up, Baker News
Take
Canada?
One incident, and I could be out here feeding you, or you could be feeding me.
Carr says their goal is to feed and provide clothing to hundreds of people each year.
I see everyone feeding.
See, this is a really notable thing. It's this is what people should be doing for the community instead of causing havoc and people going to prison. Help your community. Like if it's available for you guys to be helping, try to help the community. There's always people in a worse situation than you that can use a hand, and these guys are doing that. So my hat is off to them. Shout out to the Game Over Motorcycle Club, because people nowadays, they don't care about other people. But if you take care of your community, they will look out for you. They will be on your side. And you're starting to see less and less of this type of stuff going on and more violence in the news. A lot of people are angry these days, it seems. But we're going to talk about a whole bunch of different cases that are popping off in the news. And we're going to talk about who shot the Pagans at the gas station. Did they get shot by their own? It seems that might be the case.
As the temperatures begin to drop, a group of volunteers are doing what they can to make sure members of the community's most vulnerable population stay warm. Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Shay Arthur. WREG's Cwienk brings us that story.
Members of Game Over Motorcycle Club were on the move Sunday morning. No, they weren't on the road riding their motorcycles. They were at Morris Park, moving blankets and plates of warm food into the hands of those in need.
Well, it's getting cold out here. Somebody got to take care of our homes.
Edwin Carr says for years they've been coming to the park to make sure those experiencing homelessness have what they need for the fall and winter seasons.
You see, when motorcycle clubs do good things, I'll report on it. I'm not just going to report on the bad things they do. If they do good things, I'll report on that too. But you're seeing less and less of the charity events and things like that, and more negative things in the news. So they got to get back to this type of stuff and less at the gangster stuff. You know what I'm saying? Go help your community. This is the way you win people over.
You can never know when your situation may change. It takes one incident and I be out here
each year.
I see everyone feeding everyone that's in the government shutdown. That's a good thing. But what about the people who are not working, who are, just out here on the streets, nowhere to go, shelters turning them down? What about them?
Reporting for your news leader, Demetri Wilborn, WREG News, Channel 3.
So shout out to the Game Over Motorcycle Club for doing a great thing for their community. Hopefully we can see more of that from different people, you know what I'm saying? Now, in other news, the government people have no value. It's sad that these traffic controllers aren't getting paid. That's like a necessity, right? People's lives are at risk with these people doing their job. Pay them people. Like, what's wrong with, it doesn't make any sense. The people that work for the government, all these politicians are still getting paid. They should take their money and give it to the traffic controllers. It's insane. This shit is done half-ass backwards, but I'm not into politics. I don't get into any of that shit. I don't think any of them are for the people. I think they're all against us, because they are. So in other news, there was a crazy crash. I believe this happened in Florida. A white Corvette crashed. Crazy. I got a video of that. Let's check it out. So this white Corvette was flying down the street, right? And you could see where the impact was. You see where and this Jeep was involved. You could see some of the debris, and you could see the sand all on the road. Hey, Virginia Chaos, what's going on? Holy Skunk says, I need a tent. I need candles. I need a blanket. Food, cigarettes, alcohol, little drugs. Grandfather's MC. Oh man, his club are taking food bank help. Oh yeah, that's awesome. I guess someone possibly passed away in this crash. Because they're seen later on in the video, they're seen giving CPR to someone. Look at all that. Look at the Jeep. You can see the skid marks. They got a helicopter. Someone's got to be pretty hurt if they're bringing a helicopter, you know? If they're like in stable condition, they'll just use an ambulance. But when they bring a helicopter out and land it in a fucking neighborhood near power lines, It's got to be pretty bad, you know? Dude was probably flying in the Corvette. Aware of your surroundings out there. All right. So there was a street takeover here in Connecticut. Pretty wild. It was in Ansonia around Halloween. And a police car pulls down the block. And what happens? A bunch of kids, right, with masks on, they start attacking the police car. Let me see if I could get that video for you guys. Check this out. These are young kids on the block, right? And they're doing this to a police car. Look, they're all filming it. That's crazy. I mean, they're gonna get in trouble. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
9-1. There is a lot. They're damaging the vehicle right now.
kids are out of control. Look, they're all running now, right? Backup's coming. They're all running now. Of course, they're not going to stick around. But it's crazy. Like, what's going on with the kids these days? All right, so in other news, I got to get this picture for you guys. So this is the crazy story. We all heard about the story of... Man, these people call me 3 times. We all heard this story about the Pagan that was on trial, I believe. Hey, Will, what's going on? Stacks and chat. I'm waking up late on tippity top. So we all heard the story about the Pagan that was on trial for killing Henry Silver, I believe his name was. That was in Ohio. I think it was Ohio. Don't so Pagan for sleeping with one of their girlfriends, right? And now the lawyer of one of these defendants is being charged in the case. So we're going to talk about that real quick. If I can pull this picture up for you guys. And this is like a rare thing. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry for the glitching, but I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Usually, it's not the lawyer that's facing charges, but apparently, in this case, they are. You guys remember this guy, right? He was on trial for the murder of, I believe his name was Henry Silver. So his lawyer, right here, she is being charged with a crime now. All right, so alleged Pagan president's attorney is charged with publicizing child's confidential interview address during trial. So she published an address of a child that was involved with this case. So this is in West Virginia, Fremont, West Virginia. The alleged Pagan president, Ryan Lane's attorney, has been charged for breaking the child's confidentiality during the recent murder trial by publicizing the child's video interview name and address. Insane. Anglin McCardell, 61. We'll call her L. Elgline, her name is, I guess. Of Wheeling. She broke the child's confidentiality on 13 separate occasions during Lane's trial for his role in the 2022 murder of Henry Silver, according to West Virginia State Police. Police said the child's interview contains statements about the Pagans Motorcycle Club's meetings and that the child's name and address were made public as well. On Thursday, October 23rd, the Marion County Prosecuting Attorney's Office contacted law enforcement about Ellie's alleged violations. Police say Ellie filed a pretrial motion to dismiss Lane's case in the December 2024. In the public filing, she identified the child witness by name and published portions of the child's statement during a confidential interview. Guess that's really a no-no. In February, Ellie filed motions for contemporary evaluation of the child witness. Again, identifying the child's name in a public filing. Police say in July, she also emailed a copy of the child's video interview in an unencrypted email to the court reporter, to Lowell L.J. Maxey, who was allegedly serving as a private investigator for her office at the time, court documents say. Earlier this week, Maxey was also charged in Marion County for working as a private investigator for Ellie without a license. Oh my God. At the time, there is no word on how this may or may not affect Lane's court proceedings. Lane is scheduled for a motion or a hearing on Marion County Circuit Court on Tuesday, but the hearing was continued, officials said. Ellie is charged with 13 misdemeanor counts, a confidentiality of recorded interview of a child, and Lane is facing a first-degree murder charge, 2 organized criminal enterprise charges, and conspiracy. So what do you guys think of this? The lawyer put out the child's name, and she was like a witness for the government. She put out the child's name, her address, and other information. Like, I mean, you can't do that. That's a confidential source, and it's a young girl. It's a young child. Why would you do that? So she's in some deep shit, and her private investigator is in some trouble for working for them without a license. So, I mean, you can't be involved in these high profile cases and think you're going to get away with shit like that. So here's a news.
Thanks for joining us. Our top story tonight, the attorney for the alleged Pagan Motorcycle Club president has now been charged after police say she broke a child's confidentiality during murder trial. Elgin McCardle is representing Ryan Lane.
Elgin. I guess her name's Elgin. Just call her L.
For his role in the 2022 murder of Henry Silver. Police say she broke the child's confidentiality on 13 separate occasions, including identifying them by name and publishing portions of the child's statements during a confidential interview. Police say she sent an unencrypted email with a copy of the child's video.
518 Chopper, what's going on? Good morning. Thank you for joining me today. Appreciate you. Virginia Chaos, what's going on? Just watched some Matty Boy interview. Straight up solid dude there. Shout out to Matty Boy. Great guy. Judah, what's good? Antifa always brags on Reddit or Facebook that they're college friends about what they did, and they are easy as hell to track down. I don't know nothing about any of that shit. I don't get political, you know? Hey, we got 51 people in the house. Make sure you hit the like button. STMC, what's going on? Shout out to you, man. Thank you for joining me. I want to give a big shout out to Mike Ball for all the help that he's given me over this time doing content. I appreciate it. There goes the law license. 100%. They're going to be their law license is going to go.
McCardle is representing Ryan Lane for his role in the 2022 murder of Henry Silver. Police say she broke the child's confidentiality on 13 separate occasions, including identifying them by name and publishing portions of the child's statements during a confidential interview. Police say she sent an unencrypted email with a copy of the child's video interview to a court reporter and Lau L.J. Maxey, who was serving as a private investigator for her office at that time. Earlier this week, Maxey was also charged for operating as a PI for the case without a license. McCardle is now charged with 13 misdemeanor counts of confidentiality of recorded interviews of children. At this time, it's unclear how her charges will impact Ryan Lane's murder trial.
Hey, maybe he could get a new trial because of the shit. I mean, obviously, she's doing some. Let me see. Keeps glitching, man. I don't know what's going on with this shit. So, yeah, who the hell knows? Maybe he could get a new trial because his lawyer is committing crimes while she's fucking trying to defend him. She's fucking actively committing crimes trying to defend her client. I mean, that's a chance for a new trial, right? Like, hey, I didn't know what the fuck she was doing. She's trying to commit crimes and breaching people's confidentiality, especially a child. You don't do that shit to a child. Like, I could see if you did it to a grown-up. That's one thing. It's a grown-up, but you don't do it to a fucking kid. I mean, that's totally wrong, and she knows it's wrong. But anyway, motorcyclist dead after a crash on a busy Springfield road. This is in Springfield, Mass. A man is dead after a motorcycle crash in Springfield on Saturday night. Reported that Springfield police and medics responded around 8:17 p.m. to Route 40 overpass on Water Street overpass. The traffic reconstruction team was on the crash scene. It confirmed that the motorcycle was the only vehicle involved. The motorcyclist was westbound on the overpass when he lost control and ran off to the right side of the roadway and struck the guardrail. One adult male was pronounced dead at the scene. He was the only rider in the crash. Witnesses called 911 and notified them about the crash. The coroner responded to the scene, and the next of kin has not yet been notified. The crash remains under investigation. I'll bring you more information when that becomes available. So there is a bunch of things going over there in Australia, but I'm gonna save a whole show just for that because it's getting crazy over there. Here's a headline: alleged bikie pleads guilty over gang ride through Adelaide. A group of alleged Hells Angel bikies were arrested after allegedly breaching SA through anti-gang laws. So now I will bring you guys that case on a different show. Half of them now have pleaded guilty to violating the gang laws. If you guys don't know, Australia has some of the most strict gang laws ever. Stacks, you need to reboot your router or modem when you get a chance. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that. 100%. Why is it that bad? Is it that bad? Am I glitching? No, I'm not glitching, right? It's working. My bad if it's glitching. We'll take care of that. I'll reboot the router when I'm done with this show. So, in other information, other news, we're going to talk about the Pagan shooting that happened. So, as you guys know, 9 people were charged. 9 motorcycle gang members, it says, were arrested after the shooting. So 9 members of the motorcycle gang, the Pagans, were arrested in connection to a shooting at Montgomery County Wawa that left 6 people hurt. An investigation began after a shooting on Friday, October 17th, around 9:12 p.m. at a Wawa located at the 2544 West Main Street in West Norrington. Officials said the entire incident was caught on surveillance cameras. That's why you can't do shit like this. If you're in a gas station, just know it's all being recorded. Look up. There's a camera on every corner at the gas station. Every single corner. You're being recorded when you're at a gas station. And I think I know why this whole situation transpires. So we're going to talk about that too. So, but the main question is today is who shot the Pagans? Because people are like, hey, who shot the Pagans? So the entire incident was caught on surveillance cameras. Video revealed that 2 members of the unknown biker gang, it says here, were wearing their colors or cuts. They were filling up their gas tanks, according to officials. 2 minutes later, 9 members of the Pagans outlaw motorcycle gang were riding on Ridge Pike when they saw the 2 unknown gang members. Officials reported the Pagan members entered the Wawa parking lot and blocked the 2 unknown members from leaving, police reported. A fight broke out. During the fight, Pagan members appeared to be trying to remove the unknown members' cuts, officials said. That's when gunfire erupted, the DA's office said. 6 people were hurt in the shooting, including 2 innocent bystanders. One man was filling air up in his vehicle's tires when he was shot in the face, while a woman was standing at the Wawa's doors when she was shot in the torso, police explained. The members of the Pagans motorcycle gang fled the scene on their motorcycles. Officers found the Pagans members traveling eastbound on Main Street and pulled them over. But in other reports, didn't you guys hear that only 4 of the members were pulled over after they left? So there's some inconsistencies with their stories, because now they're trying to say that all of them were pulled over, but that's not true. Only 4 of them were pulled over, allegedly. They said that they pulled them over. Officers realized that 3 of the Pagans had been shot during the incident and taken to a nearby hospital for treatment. Detectives arrived on the scene and found 14 spent shell casings. So with these people being shot, who shot the Pagans? If they're the ones with the guns, they're the ones being charged. I think I have the information. So apparently, I'm pretty sure that the unknown bikers are legally able to carry. Apparently, allegedly, I'm not going to say this is fact, but a little birdie might have told me that possibly when the altercation was happening with the unknown bikers, a firearm possibly fell out. One of the alleged Pagans grabbed the firearm, started shooting, and possibly hit their own brothers. Because you guys know how it happens. When people are fighting and there's people all around and there's chaos ensuing, people don't pay attention. People get in the way of crossfire and things happen. It wouldn't be the first time that something like this has happened. But the other 2 unknown bikers have not been charged in the incident. So we can only speculate that the police are treating them like they're the victims. And remember, this whole thing was caught on tape. So these guys, it's not like they cooperated against them or anything. It's all on tape. There is no, you have to point this guy out or anything. They're on tape doing all this. And it's clear that when they were on tape, they're seen trying to take the cuts off these guys. And right there is a huge charge. And they can upgrade these charges. You know, this is a federal case. And these guys are facing life in prison. I mean, they have so many charges. But you would think, right? 3 of the Pagans were shot. So if it was the unknown bikers that shot the Pagans, wouldn't one of them be charged? So my speculation, and this is purely speculation, is that possibly one of the unknown bikers had a firearm. Maybe they dropped it in the altercation. Possibly an alleged Pagan maybe grabbed the firearm and started shooting and shot their own brothers in the melee. It could not be that case. That could not be the case. I'm just speculating here. So, but 3 of them were shot. George 51, Joel Marty, Jason Lawless, 45, Manuel Santos, 34, Erik Dixon, 33, Luke Higgins, 29, Justin Noll, 34. Luke Higgins is the youngest guy at 29 years old. Erik Rosenberger, 46. They were all arrested on October 30th. So, Santos, Cwienk, Dixon, Higgins, and Martinez, Hripto, Lawless, Rosenberger were all being held on $500,000 bond. And the judge declined to lower the amount. So it's not looking good for them. Noll was placed on a $50,000 unsecured bond while he undergoes medical treatment. I believe that he was the only person that has been released because all the other defendants are not able to post bond. So, let me see here. All right, so what we know, there is no public confirmation or information, no confirmed information about exactly who shot the members of the Pagans. On October 17, 2025, the incident at the Wawa in West Norrington Township, Montgomery County. Here is what's known from the investigation. 2 of the rival unknown bikers motorcycle club were at the Wawa filling up gas when the altercation began. Surveillance video shows 9 Pagans arriving, surrounding the unknown bikers, blocking exits, physically engaging with them, and attempting to remove their cuts. Shortly after, gunfire erupted. 6 people, including 2 bystanders, and some of the Pagans themselves were shot. Among the injured, one of the unknown bikers, he was shot in the forearm and the thigh, and multiple Pagans were shot. One in the chest, the ankle, the foot. And so allegedly, where did all this transpire? The news is saying, oh, it's a territory dispute and this and that. Possibly, I'm only saying allegedly, this could be from the unknown bikers possibly patching in a member or a former member of the Pagans, and possibly they didn't like that. You know, when people leave one club and they go to another club, that club they left from doesn't like when they join another club, because maybe they left for a certain situation. They could have been stealing. They could have slept with someone's girlfriend. Anything could have happened. Now, when they join another club, it makes them not like that whole club. Possibly that could be the reason why all this transpired. I know it's not from territorial dispute, because these guys all got along up until recently. There's never been really an issue. Maybe a couple altercations here and there, but there was never no big issue like this. And that's the only thing that I could really think of that possibly why this would even transpire. So shortly after the gunfire erupted, 6 people were shot, including one unknown biker, and multiple Pagans were shot. Because of the complexity of the confrontation with the 2 rival gangs physically engaging and then gunfire bursting out, the investigation does not attribute the gunshots solely to one party publicly. So they don't know who did the shooting. They're not saying publicly who did the shooting. I mean, it could have been the unknown bikers. It could have been the Pagans. Who knows? It could have been the fucking bystander, right? They could have pulled out a gun and started shooting. What the investigation has established is, according to an announcement from the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office, the West Norrington Township Police Department, 2 members of the unknown bikers, when they arrived at the Wawa 809, they were filling up gas. Surveillance video shows 9 members riding past the parking lot shortly after. They surrounded the unknown bikers, blocking exits. Physical confrontation ensued. Video shows the Pagans taking what's described as a shooting platform stance before the gunfire erupted, approximately 1 minute after they arrived. At the scene, there was 14 fired shell casings that were recovered. What isn't clear and what remains unresolved, it's not clear that the gunfire erupted after the Pagans arrived in the confrontation with the unknown bikers. It has not been publicly disclosed by the DA's office or law enforcement which individual fired the shots. So nobody's being charged with possession of a firearm by a felon, attempted murder. No one's being charged with that. So it makes you wonder, like, why? But they did charge him with assault and all this other stuff, recklessly endangering another person. So it is clear that gunfire did erupt after the Pagans arrived. There is no public available court filings or sources that I found that identifies a single shooter beyond their general charges against the Pagan group. The criminal charges filed are aggravated assault, riot, reckless endangering another person. Target the 9 Pagans arrested, but they do not specify on who pulled the trigger. Whether additional charges will be brought against members of the unknown bikers or co-conspirators has not been publicly reported at this time. So there could be charges coming from both sides. But in effect, this investigation strongly implicates the Pagans' arrival and actions as a contrast in the confrontation. Video evidence ties them to the parking lot clash and subsequent gunfire. However, there's no public record yet that identifies a specific shooter or assigns preliminary responsibility beyond a reasonable doubt on which group is responsible for opening fire. So we will find out who is going to be charged with this. I mean, down the road, they could hit them with more charges. So here's another article. It was Friday night, like any other, at the Wawa on West Main Street, until the roar of engines turned to the crack of gunfire. What began as a chance encounter between rival motorcycle clubs at a suburban gas station exploded into chaos, leaving 6 people injured, including 2 innocent bystanders, and 9 alleged members of the Pagans motorcycle gang under arrest. But you guys remember when this first transpired? They said 15 to 20 members were involved, and now all of a sudden it's 9. So it's crazy how the numbers change. So according to Montgomery District Attorney's Office, the violent chain of events unfolded at 9:12 p.m. on October 17, 2025, when surveillance cameras captured 2 members of the unknown bikers' outlaw motorcycle gang fueling up their motorcycles under the bright lights of the Wawa at 2544 West Main Street. Both were wearing their signature gang cuts, it says, symbols of their allegiance to their club. And often these patches, they mean everything. And sometimes it costs people their lives. Just 5 minutes later, prosecutors say a convoy of 9 Pagans rumbled down Ridge Pike, spotting the unknown members. The Pagans swung into the parking lot, surrounded the 2 bikers, and cut off any chance of escape. What began It quickly turned into a physical confrontation with fists and shouts flying as the Pagans allegedly try to strip the unknown bikers of their jackets, a sign of domination in a biker gang warfare. Then the night detonated. Gunshots ripped through the air, echoing, bouncing off the gas pumps in the storefront. By the time it was over, 6 people had been hit. 4 gang members and 2 bystanders. One man had simply stopped to put air in his tire when he was shot in the face. A woman was standing by the doors of the Wawa when she was hit in the torso. It's a miracle no one was killed, they said during a press conference. This was an ambush that turned a quiet night into like a war zone. I don't think it was an ambush, you know. I think it was an altercation that maybe got out of hand. If it was an ambush, people would have definitely been unalived in this situation. People say the Pagans fled on their motorcycles, leaving the scene littered with 14 spent shell casings, shattered glass, and a community shaken by the sudden eruption in gang violence. But they didn't get far. West Norrington Township officers spotted a group moments later. How come they're not talking about the alleged shooting that happened in Bridgeport that night? How come that's not even being talked about? Because allegedly, they said that there was one shooting at the Wawa, and then minutes later, there was a shooting at Bridgeport, at the town of Bridgeport. And they don't mention that, not even a little bit anymore. That's like disappeared from all of these records. It's crazy because they did say that when this first transpired. So they did get pulled over. When police pulled them over, they discovered 3 Pagans had also been shot. They were taken into custody, transported for medical treatment. We got video of that situation. The suspects, George Cwienk, 51, Joel Martinez, 36, George Hripto, 50, Jason Lawless, 45. Manuel Santos, 34, Erik Dixon, 33, Luke Higgins, 29, Justin Noll, 34, Erik Rosenberger, 46, were arrested on October 30th after multi-agency investigation led by the Montgomery County Detectives Bureau, West Norrington Police, state law enforcement. Each faces charges including aggravated assault, rioting, and related offenses. Authorities said Santos, Cwienk, Dixon, Higgins, Martinez, Hripto, Lawless, and Rosenberger are being held on a $500,000 cash bail, while Noll, still recovering from his injuries, was released on a $50,000 unsecured bail, pending medical clearance. So he's the only one that was released. Was Noll, the guy on the top left. I mean, why did they only release him and leave the other guys in there with $500,000 bonds? Because he was pending medical treatment, but it's not like he was shot in the foot. So it wasn't like, it doesn't sound like it's a major thing, you know? Detectives say the confrontation bore all the hallmarks of an ongoing turf war rivalry between the Pagans and the unknown bikers. But I believe that's complete bullshit. I don't think it was over a turf beef. Smaller in numbers, but determined to claim the space in Pennsylvania's own outlaw biker landscape, the fight for territory, identity, and reputation has increasingly spilled from the back roads to the bar rooms into public spaces. In this case, the gas station chain that families frequent every day. For investigators, the Wawa shooting is part of a troubling pattern of public escalations among motorcycle gangs across the mid-Atlantic, where local law enforcement agencies have ramped up intelligence sharing and surveillance of club activity. The Pagans, in particular, have been expanding their presence in Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, often clashing with rival clubs over dominance in smaller communities. It is kind of an open warfare, is what we fear most. One law enforcement source tells reporters off the record, it's not about random violence, it's about control, respect, and revenge. As of now, all 9 suspects remain under active investigation, with prosecutors reviewing additional video footage, ballistic evidence. The DA's office says more charges could follow, depending on the outcome of the forensic tests and statements from witnesses. The Wawa parking lot has since been scrubbed clean of all blood and chaos. But for many in West Norrington, the scars linger. Shoppers still glance over their shoulders when motorcycles rumble by. Employees say silence after the night feels heavier than the gunfire ever did. From the road, Wawa looks ordinary again. Bright lights, fresh coffee, quiet pumps. But for who were there on October 17th, there will never just be another Friday night. It was a night at the gas station that became a battlefield, and the community learned that gang wars don't just happen in the shadows. Sometimes they happen right under the neon glow of everyday life. So I'll bring you guys more information as it becomes available about this situation. But I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this show. There's a lot of other content we're going to talk about. Matter of fact, I got one more story to talk to you guys about. So there's a story about 300 plus piles of human remains outside Las Vegas. And they are investigating a funeral home right now to find out if these human remains came from there. So it says funeral home recovers 300 plus piles of human remains outside Las Vegas. The investigation who dumped the more than 300 plus piles of human remains in the desert outside Las Vegas continues as funeral homes stepped in Wednesday and recovered them. The investigative teams said there's now investigators who first discovery of more than 100 piles of cremated remains in August. A person who found the ashes later contacted the news and said he stumbled on the piles on July 28th in the desert outside of Searchlight. Searchlight is a rural community about an hour south of Las Vegas Valley off US 95. In August, the Bureau of Land Management officials confirmed the piles were human cremations, and the department was actively investigating cremations. And the word that officials provided is the word for cremated remains. It's called cremains, I guess. That's the word for cremated remains, cremains. On Wednesday, representatives for mortuaries and cemeteries removed approximately 315 piles of human remains from the desert. A second area containing more piles was found near the dump site. It's crazy. Like, what are generally referred to as ashes were pulverized bones which are left over as a person is cremated. I think most of us just like felt what a shame the president of Palm Mortuary and Cemetery said. Each pile represents a person who lived in southern Nevada community. The piles are likely the work of a commercial funeral home business. Several sources confirmed. Yeah, but so if people pass away, right? Don't the people take their family members' remains? Like, you don't just say, all right, take care of them. I mean, who gets their family cremated and says, all right, just handle that? Like, I don't see it happening like that. I mean, you get a box and you walk away with it. So where the hell did these bodies come from? So they moved each pile into a bag and put individuals into an urn. So they put them into the plastic boxes that they go in. There is no law in Nevada barring scatters funeral operators to preserve the dignity of any remains in their care. BLM policy allows you for a person to scatter cremated remains. However, policy limits commercial distribution of cremated remains. A mass dumping site like this one violates federal law. I don't know if it was the wishes of these people to be out. So that's kind of what goes through my mind, DeLillo said. If it's not how they wanted to be remembered, they would just have a place for them to be. I mean, why would you do that? Why would you just dump all these ashes in the middle of the desert? Like, it's just weird. I just find it very weird. So they placed 315 remains into a crypt at one of the cemeteries so loved ones can find them there. I mean, how are they going to know which one's what? Each pile is no longer contained any identifiable information as of Wednesday. In August, some of the piles contain pieces of zip ties in which crematories used to close the bags of ashes. Pieces of broken urn also littered parts of the site. I think it's important to us to make sure that none of these people are forgotten. I mean, what if it's a serial killer that was just dumping all these bodies out in the woods and nobody, I mean, it's just a crazy story. So hopefully they could get to the bottom of that. But when someone gets cremated, they usually give people the ashes, right? Like, here's your family, and then you take it and do whatever with it. So where are these 300 people coming from? Like, is there 300 people that their family didn't want nothing to do with them? I mean, kind of weird, right? Maybe it's a serial killer. Could be. I mean, where do they get? Hey, Mick, what's going on? Who's an informant? Ken, how you doing? It sounds like the place happened 5 minutes from my house. The March where dude was burning bodies because his furnace broke and just piled them up. Insane. Could be COVID deaths, right? Could be. Yeah, but I mean, when someone gets cremated, don't you take your family's ashes? Like, okay, I'm I'm going to take them now, and I'll do what I want with it. Like, I'll scatter them or whatever. 300 people, their family didn't want them? Like, I just find that weird. 300 people, where'd they come from? I mean, they could be from the prison. They could be people from the hospital that aren't claimed. I mean, that's a possibility, right? But just 300? That's just a lot of people. Serial hoarder of ashes. It's crazy. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining me today. There's a lot more content on the way. We got tons of shows. And don't forget, tonight we got a new show for you guys. Former Shootout soldier comes on the show and tells his story. So a former Shootout soldier tells his story. And then later on in the week, we got a ex-Dirty Ones member. And then before the Dirty Ones, we have the Red Rum Motorcycle Club international president came on the show. Shout out to Cliff. One of the guys who's out from the shooting, probably. I'm thinking the same thing. Hey, it's a little weird when one person gets bonded out, right? And the other guys are all stuck in there. Everyone's stuck in there. The one guy's out. Come on, I'm not buying it either. Somebody's talking to the cops. But I don't know. Violence solves nothing. Nobody wins a prize. People are going to prison. The club's not going to pay for your legal fees. They're not going to keep money on your books. You're just going to be lost in the shuffle. And what's it worth? Nothing. Who wins? No one. So think before you do shit out there. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining me. If you like this show, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. Check out Patreon. There's a lot of great content over there. And if you want to donate to the show, you can hit up the Cash App at Chatting with Stacks. And if you want to tell your story on Chatting with Stacks, just email me at billstacks2021@gmail.com. There's a lot of great shows on the way, and I hope you guys like this stuff. If you don't like this show, too fucking bad. Start your own podcast. I appreciate all you guys, and remember, don't be a bitch.
And all new at 5, a major organized crime bust. 23 people under arrest now accused of stealing guns and cash.
Today, police revealed 4 organized crime groups are wreaking havoc.
From aggravated robbery to kidnapping, burglary, and more. Let's take a look at this. New pictures from court documents in this case. These are a few of the people who have been charged. And investigators say the money, tens of thousands of dollars, is all stolen.